First of all, I want to say thank you for visiting the site and clicking on the link. I appreciate you for visiting and at least showing some interest in what I have to say. I just want to be pretty brief in this video, talk a couple minutes about things that you should look out for when you're shopping for a VA home loan specifically, and specifically a VA IRRRL refinance or just a VA refinance in general. So a couple things to talk about here. When you're shopping for a refinance, rate is not the only thing that matters. You want to shop rate and cost for the rate. Not just rate and cost. If you look at rate and total closing costs, there's third-party stuff that's part of a transaction. And even though we have no cost options, when you're out there looking, you might have these crazy rates that are being quoted to you. And I think that a lot of people don't know the difference between one rate to another. Box A of a loan estimate. If you're that far in the process and you've received a loan estimate, or maybe you're just shopping and asking questions. Now we're going to shop for you. We're going to shop over 100 lenders for you. I'm going to negotiate with them. I'm going to pressure them to give you the best deal they possibly can give you. And I'm going to do my best to find you something wonderful. But if you're doing it out on your own, something that you should know is that box A on your loan estimate is what tells you how much that rate is costing you. So if there's an interest rate on the first page, the second page will break everything down for you. So outside of the normal costs, if you are paying for a refinance, box A is the most important part, and that's what's going to show you. So the one rule there is not just rate and cost for the rate. So that's one way to shop. Second thing is make sure that who you're talking to knows what they're doing. So if they're not talking to you about the things that I'm talking about in this video, that's going to be very important for you to know, because that might just be someone they threw on the phone or threw, behind the desk, and they might be new. They might not know. They might be trying to rip you off. Maybe they're hiding information. Whatever it might be, it is your duty to yourself to find out that information. Make sure you know what the person's like. Find out if they're honest. I know it can be hard to be a judge of character over the phone, but if they're not explaining these things to you about rate and cost combinations, what the total costs are, what they can do for you on other options, things like that, if they're shopping multiple outlets for you, that kind of thing, those are important questions. There's a reason why the broker industry has grown over 500% in the last 6 years. Brokers are growing rapidly because people are realizing really quick that if you just go to one institution, you're only getting their quote. If you go to a broker, that person is shopping for you. So I have the benefit of both. We're a correspondent lender and a broker. That might not mean much to you, but that essentially to us means that not only will I shop for you, but we have the ability to negotiate harder than others do because we have the ability to flex with the pricing. So another thing to consider too when you're thinking about a refinance is what we call the recoup period. So if you're refinancing, let's say, you're saving $200 a month and it's costing you, $4,800 to refinance. Let me just throw a number out there for you. That would be 24 months before you make back the money that you're saving, before it finally starts to make sense for you. So let me ask you this. If you had the opportunity to get a lower rate that you don't benefit from for 24 months, so 2 whole years go by, you're still not benefiting because you're still catching up on the amount of cost, as opposed to, let's say I could save you $175 a month and you don't have a recoup period because there are no costs. You can start day one saving money. I think that's a great thing for you to know, a great thing for you to compare, because in the current rate environment, here we are in November 2025, when you're watching this might be a different date, but in the current rate environment, the forecast is rates are going to continue going down. In the last year, rates have come down significantly. So if they continue to go down and you refinance today and save yourself a few $100 or a couple $100 a month on your payment, if another opportunity comes up, you won't have to feel regret or remorse that you spent too much money on a refinance and you still haven't recouped it. And then you refinance again, and now you're way behind. That's like trading in an underwater car that you owe more than it's worth to the car dealership. And then you buy another car and then you're underwater on that one. And then that one goes underwater and you trade it in again. And it's like, oh my God, I've created a mess for myself. I don't want that for you. So that's important to know as well. What is the recoup period going to look like? How much is the total amount of cost, the total amount of savings? How long will it take me to get that? And what is the possibility that I will be refinancing in that time frame? That's really important to know. The future perspective of savings is part of that. So, when you're talking about, okay, if the future has savings coming up, maybe rates are trending down and they're forecasted to go down even further. That doesn't necessarily mean wait, because if you wait for, let's say, another year to go by and the rates come down, you're not saving for that entire year. You're still paying the payment and a high rate that you have now for another whole year before you refinance. Maybe they go down another 0.25% or 0.5%. And it's like, if you would have just done a no-cost refinance in the beginning, You wouldn't have to worry about doing it again or worried about recoup periods or what the future prospect of savings might be, that you're going to miss a window or jump too early or whatnot. That way you can feel good about moving now on it and moving in the future on it if the opportunity arises again. Nobody knows the future. Forecasts do not mean reality. So if you can save now, capture the savings. Because if something changes in the future and you can't capture another savings, you're going to be kicking yourself that you didn't do it a year ago. The other thing is fees. I used to work for a big bank. I'm going to leave them unnamed, one of the largest in the country. I then worked for a top 25 mortgage lender in the entire country. They were the one location. It wasn't a broker like I'm at now. So when I worked for those places, they all charged fees. So now for the last 7 years, I've been out on my own as a broker. And what I have found out is fees aren't necessary. Fees are just a way for the lender to make more money off of you in the beginning of the transaction because they don't know how long you're going to keep that mortgage. Maybe you refinance after a year. Sure, they made a little bit of interest on you in that time. But if they charge you fees up front, they get to pocket money right away. So I'm not a believer in fees. I don't charge fees. I have the option of charging the fees and I choose not to. So on average, people are charging you a processing fee and an underwriting fee, and those are usually anywhere between $500 to $1,000 a piece. So just in those fees, you're saving $1,000 to $2,000 by working with somebody who doesn't charge fees. So that's another important part. Now, everybody's scenario is different. I'm happy to talk to you about those differences, explain things to you, thoroughly be honest with you, and thoroughly show you the differences in what you currently have, what a new prospective loan might be, what options you have on the prospective loan. That's what our consultation is going to be like. I'm a no pressure guy. All I care about is saving veterans money. I do a lot for the community. I'm part of Homes for Heroes. I'm in the Air Force Sergeants Association. I give back. And from now until the end of the year as well, 2025, I'm going to be giving $200 for every VA loan that I do to any veteran charity of the client's choice. So if you have a charity that you're passionate about, I'm really looking forward to giving to that cause. So thank you again for watching the video. Hopefully by this time you filled out some information. We've got some time coming up that we're going to talk, and we'll see if this is worth your time, and you'll have the best consultation you've ever had in the mortgage business. I guarantee it. Thanks again. Jerry Zadat out.